This is perhaps one of the best jingles in the history of politics in Nigeria, as this song became a popular household anthem and still brings back memories more than 3 decades after.
Then they bring us so dirty, they pull am. The small money they get now social transport, they chop am. School low, na headache, hospital no work, I tire for life. Oh, my brother, waiting you they think, oh, my sister, help don't come.
Some say 1993 was when Nigerians took a huge step towards entrenching democratic governance by voting massively for Chief Moshood, Kashimawo, Olawale Abiola, presidential candidates for the Social Democratic Party.
The people of Nigeria, through their democratic decision of June 12, 1993, expect me to assume the reins of government. Yes. I fully intend to keep that date with history. Yes. Why are we where we are? We are where we are because government has left undone what it should have done and has kept doing what it has no business doing. Government has no business running business.
Chief M.K.O. Abiola, as he was fondly called, was born on August 24, 1937. The Nigerian business magnate, publisher, and politician was the honorary supreme military commander of the Oyo Empire, as well as an aristocrat of the Egba clan. Reflecting on his earlier life, in 1956, Chief Abiola started his professional life as a bank clerk with Barclays Bank in Ibadan, southwest Nigeria. And after 2 years, he joined the Western Region Finance Corporation before leaving for Glasgow, Scotland to pursue his higher education. The young Abiola received a first-class degree in accountancy from Glasgow University, and he also gained a distinction from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Scotland. On his return to Nigeria, Abiola worked as a senior accountant at the University of Lagos Teaching Hospital, then went on to the US firm Pfizer before joining the ITT Corporation, where he later rose to the position of Vice President, Africa and Middle East. Chief Abiola sprang to national and international prominence as a result of his philanthropic activities. And that's why the Congressional Black Caucus of the United States of America issued the following tribute to a man loved by many Nigerians. To get a glimpse of the man many Nigerians dreamed of seeing as president, I meet with those who worked closely with Chief M.K.O. and were very involved in the struggle.
Abiola was that symbol of resistance. It was that galvanizing force. It was the rallying point. And one of the meetings that we had with him, we're talking about the convocation of a sovereign national conference. And Abiola said, my government, I mean, what you're talking about fiscal federalism. Yes, I'm talking about restructuring. I'm not even sure that you need a meeting, because if you're talking about a conference and you're calling it sovereign, meaning that the resolution cannot be tinkered with except through a national referendum. You don't need all those things. I will do all those things. And one of the mantra of Abiola was farewell to poverty. Abiola canvassed seriously for posterity, because prosperity, because Abiola knew what poverty was. At 9, he was already carrying firewood, going about, selling. He would tell us when we come to see him that the first time he had ever eaten an egg was, when he grew up. So he knew what poverty was. So farewell to poverty. And he said there's no way Abiola as a president, you will see any impoverished Nigerian, walking about on the street. So it was that symbol, of resistance. So those of us that were around the battle, to reclaim that mandate, it was seriously fought to the extent that we're ready, to lay down our lives. After Abiola's arrest, Kudirat continued.
Extremely very nice man. I always thought of him as not really a political person. And you recall, maybe you don't recall, but his wife was not really for him to get into politics. The late Symbiat, she was absolutely opposed to him. But when she passed, so that gave him the latitude and freedom. So, and it was at the time that Nigeria really was looking for a champion of people. So I remember clearly when the announcement was made that he was going to run. I was in my office in Apapa, not here, but somewhere else. And I said, wow, this is going to be fantastic having somebody of his credibility. But I think the problem was he was a person too high for Nigerian politics. That's my personal view, was too high. Playing Nigerian politics requires certain skills. I'm not sure he had those skills. So you might want to be for instance, I might want to be Nigerian president. I don't have the skills. If I tried, I would fail. When I ran for MBA presidency, I was told very clearly that you're a lawyer, but there's politics. So Abiola may have underestimated Nigerian politics, which is what subsequently led to the challenges that he had. That's my summary of what it was and who he was. But as a person, he was absolutely a brilliant guy, very kind, very generous, very accommodating. He would have been a good president, clearly. But to be a good president in Nigeria, you have to be familiar with the politics. Because there are two things in politics: the politics and the governance. So if he could have been transported over the politics straight into the governance, I think he would have been the best president ever.
I first heard of, like many people, M.K.O through Fela Anikulapo Kuti's song about ITT. So I didn't think much of him. And I will also say that when we returned to civil rule in 1979, he took the media world by storm by launching the National Concord, that he was the pillar of sports in Africa. He was very supportive of sporting activity. And he was going around the country and making himself known and popular, not just in Yoruba land, but also in the East, in the Middle Belt, in the Northwest, in the North. He was going around, he was basically preparing.
To resolve the June 12th conundrum and put Abiola in his rightful place, even in death, former President Muhammadu Buhari took the bold steps in recognizing him as the winner of June 12, and as president, Buhari bestowed on M.K.O posthumously the highest national honor of GCFR reserved for presidents. He also declared June 12 a national public holiday.
preside over the commemoration and the investiture, marking the formal official federal government recognition of June 12 as National Democracy Day.
But has the ghost of June 12 been finally laid to rest?
A posthumous declaration of M.K.O Abiola as a past president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where you have wherever we see portraits of past presidents, past head of states, Abiola's portraits should also hang there. The only life he had, he paid the supreme price. He died for our collective struggle. So it's our collective responsibility in ensuring that, yes, some of these things have been accorded public order and the rest, but for us to, what we can do, the befitting memorial we can give him, apart from imbibing the ideas and measure of June 12, is for Abiola to be declared as a past president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and everything that past presidents are entitled to. His family members are there. They should be entitled to all of them.
If the books show that someone is being owed, then it's something that you should restore. As part of the, what we call in law, restitution in interim. Yeah. So there's an award, there's the June 12, those are all nice things, but the personal things are also important. Reparation, So I would, if I had the power, say, we owe this guy money, and there's no reason not to pay him. I would. In fact, I'm happy you brought it up because I actually never thought of this.
When Olisa had his honor, we all still felt that June 12th needed to be properly recognized. When President Buhari recognized M.K.O, Gani, and Kingibe, we again felt that more people should be recognized for the role that they had played in the June 12th struggle. But there will always be people who will say more should be done.
If you are familiar with mainland Lagos, then Tony Street is perhaps one of the most popular areas here, and that's because Chief M.K.O Abiola lived here and was also buried here. This building holds an immense significance to his legacy and struggle, and that's why we are here to tour this edifice. Let's get after it.
Hello, how are you?
Perfect.
Glad to meet you.
Thank you so
How's
much.
everything?
Thank you so much
I'm
for
doing
being
well. Thank you. Let's
speak with us.
To unpack more, we visit M.K.O Abiola's home in mainland Lagos, where we chit-chat with his seventh son.
One of the things that my mom used to tell us, that we were forbidden to go to him to go and collect any money. If she heard that we went to go and collect money from daddy, she would beat us. And she would tell my dad, don't give my children money because I don't want you to spoil them, So my mom was like that. She didn't want us to be affected by my father's wealth or anything like that. She wanted us to be just normal children. She didn't want us to be spoilt or arrogant or anything like that. So if she heard that we went to daddy to go and collect any money, she would give us some canes. And she would go and beat my father. M.K.O, my mom, don't spoil my children, leave my children the way they are. I don't want them to feel like whatever, So we grew up without thinking too much about the fact that our father was very wealthy. We were not allowed to collect money from him growing up. My mom was very strict. So we were not even allowed to go out of the compound, right? So she would tell the security guard, don't allow these children to go outside. So we had to do we used to play inside the house. We have a soccer field, we have basketball, we have lawn tennis, we have a swimming pool, we have table tennis. So we used to do everything inside the compound. We're not really allowed to go out that much. So I could spend like maybe a whole Christmas holiday, 3 weeks, without stepping outside the compound. That's how my mom raised us. She didn't want us to, she was very, she's from Ijebu, she's Ijebu, and she's very Muslim, very strict in religion, So we had to go to Quranic school. We had to pray 5 times a day. We had to, she brought us up like that, My mom was when it came to religion, she was very serious, And she didn't want us to be like, I don't know, maybe sport with kids. She didn't know. No way. So I never really felt like I was just a regular kid, basically, But later on, when I grew up, I then realized that it seemed like we were actually enjoying more than most people. I realized that early on. Because I remember in the 80s, they used to talk about we're having austerity. And I read in the newspapers, austerity, things are difficult, austerity. So I asked my dad one day, Daddy, there's austerity, but I don't feel any austerity. We don't feel anything here. Like, inshallah, we will not feel it, but so I knew that we were actually enjoying something, but we're not made to feel arrogant about it. So the one time I went to school, King's College, right? And the driver came to pick me up from school with a taxi. And I said, where's the car? He said the car had a fault. So you had to take a taxi to come and pick me. And I said, no, I'm not going home in the taxi. Go back home and bring another car. So the driver comes back to the house to take another car. So my father now saw him. I said, where is Lekon? And he said that he couldn't come home with the taxi, so I had to come back home to bring another car. I said, okay. When you bring him back home, tell him to come and see me. So when the driver picked me up, he said, hey, Daddy said that way when you get home, you should go and come and see him. And I said, why you tell Daddy? Like, why did you tell Daddy? He's like, oh my God, I'm in trouble, So I get home, I had to go upstairs to go and see him. He now said that when he was growing up, his father didn't have any car, so he had to walk to school and walk back. He never went to school in the car because his father never had a car. So I'm saying that I cannot come home in the taxi. And he gave me 12 lashes. He beat me 12 like cane. And I said, Daddy, from now on, I won't go to school in the car again. I'll take transport and I'll find my way to school myself. Don't worry. I don't need your car. I'll find my way to school. So for 3 days, I was going to school with the bus. I don't know how I did it, but I got to the bus stop. I found my way to school for 3 days. The 4th day, when I called, okay, enough, don't worry, they will take care. So what? That's the saying that, it was very nice, but it was also very strict. It was very nice, at the same time, it was very strict. If we didn't go for Islamic lessons, like we had a teacher, if we didn't go, the man will go and report us to that. Say, your children are not coming for Islamic lessons. My father will come looking for us with a cane. So it was very nice, and at the same time, it was very strict, and I appreciate that kind of upbringing, Like if you didn't do well in school, you didn't do well in school, you didn't get like A's or you weren't in first 5 in your class, like we used to do positions. If you're not in the first 5 students, but I would say that I was coming first. What is this? What are you doing? And sometimes he will call you in front of the other kids. Like one time I didn't do well in school. He called me in front of the other children. And I was older than all of them. I was older than Afsat, Kafilat, Moriam, Mumuni, Adi, older than all of them. And he called me in front of my younger siblings. And he started blasting me. Since then, I did well. Because that dressing me down. You're not serious. Oh, you don't want to read? You don't want to be serious? I said, okay. Since then, I became serious in school, So he doesn't play, So he's very nice, but at the same time, you have to perform, basically. So that's the kind of person he was,
But how did Lekon, Elijah Kudirat's first son, take his father's decision to run for the top job?
I left Nigeria in 1990 to the United States for university, So in 1992, thereabouts, my father was in New York. So he called me up and he said that he's coming to DC to come and see me, to Washington. And that I should prepare amala and egusi. So I had this girlfriend then, Astaghfirullah, So I said, look, my father said he wants amala and egusi, so go and make it for me. So he makes it. So when my father arrives, he calls me up, come and meet me at the airport at this time. I'm only coming to see you. I'm not even coming into town. Just come and see me at the airport and I will see you for like 30 minutes and I'm going to take off. Because he came in his private jet. So I got to the airport, he landed,
They opened the door of the plane. I went up with the amala and the egusi. And he said, well, I don't really want to eat any amala and egusi. I said, okay, if you didn't want to eat amala and egusi, why are you going to bring it? He said, because I wanted to find out whether you had a girlfriend or not. Now I found out. Because I know that you are not the one that made it. You know? So, but this is why I came, to tell you that I'm going to run for president. So I was like, president? I said, yes. I said, Daddy, you know that Allah has blessed you. He has given you money, given you Islam, He has given you wives, He has given you sons, He has given you daughters, and people love you. Apart from all these blessings, people love you, and nobody is blaming you for anything. They know that you are trying your best. I said, if you become president, Daddy, they're going to blame me for electricity, they're going to blame me for bad roads, they're going to blame you for crime, they're going to blame me for the economy, and they will not love you the way they love you now. So I said, Daddy, please don't do it. I said, Daddy, there's no gain for us here. As a family, we are fine. Everybody is fine. There's no economic gain here. We're okay. And people love you already. So anywhere we go, oh, M.K.O. So you're already loved. So what, don't. And he said to me that he has tried his best with what he had to help the people. But it's not enough. He's just one man. There's only so much he can do. So like just see if I become president and use Nigerian resources to uplift the Nigerian people, that he wanted to do it as a service to improve the conditions of Nigerians. This is why he did it. And I wasn't happy because, like I said, as a son, I didn't see any benefit to us. We are fine. We are excellent. We are doing well. We are doing very well as a family. Wallahi ta'ala, we are fine. So we didn't need this at all. That's what makes it more tragic, that we didn't even need to do this. We are fine. We had oil companies, we had farms, we had airlines, we're cool. We're good to go. We had newspapers, we're good. Why are we gonna, what's vigilation? What's this, So he wanted to help Nigerian people. And growing up in this house, every day you'll see a crowd of people. Like, I'll carry food to my father for breakfast, and he will sit down in his sitting room having breakfast, and you will see like 20 people in front of him. So he has to eat his breakfast in front of people. And as he's eating, someone is talking. Okay, hey, I need this. Okay, this one is. So he's eating in front of people, and then the same day, I'll carry dinner to him. And you will be sitting down with people again in front of him. So he's eating breakfast in front of people and having dinner in front of people. So he was a man of the people. He loved people. Like, if every day this place will be packed, human beings want to see him. He wants to go out, they are waiting for him outside. They're waiting for him outside the gate. Every day, he was always, sometimes he would travel to London for like a week just to rest because of the pressure on him. So it was not an easy life that he had. I would never even wish for that kind of thing. I cannot even imagine having breakfast and 20 people are in front of me. They want to collect money from me every day. And he handled it, was very polite, was very nice to people, and he would see them and he would give them every day. Sometimes my mom, he would tell my mom, do you have any cash? Because all the money he has in his room, he has spent it. You know, my mom, Kudi, do you have any money? Do you have any cash? Bring. Okay, yes, I have some cash. Hello, how much do you have? Bring it. So he will collect money from my mother. I'm sure they collect from the other wives too. They will collect. My mom will say that my father will give her some money in the morning, and in the afternoon he will send for her to give him back that money he gave her to give people. He was always spending like that. He was very generous, incredibly generous. And to us, his children, he was very generous. If I needed anything, call Daddy. Wallah, you get it. He will give it to you. A very nice man. Alhamdulillah. So he made it it was very tragic, when the election was cancelled, And he was a very strong man, like he grew up, he had to cut firewood to pay school fees. He had to go and sing at weddings to get money for his family. So he didn't have an easy life growing up. So when that election was cancelled, that strength in him was like, wait a minute, do you know where I came from? Do you know what I had to do to get to this point, basically? Do you know what God has done for me to get me from where I started to get to where I am right now? And now that I've finally achieved this aim of becoming the president of Nigeria, freely and fairly, without any mago, you can just cancel it like that. No, he couldn't accept that. The injustice was just, and this is a man that hates injustice. He supported the ANC in South Africa, he supported ZANU-PF in Zimbabwe, he supported Museveni in Uganda, he supported all this, the African-American fight for freedom in the United States, he supported the blacks in Brazil, in Cuba, for their own struggles to get their civil rights. So this is a man that hates injustice generally. And then to not have that kind of injustice be put on him, he was always going to fight. He would never surrender. He would never surrender. I knew that he would never. They would want to tell him that he should sign agreement that he will not ask for June 12 anymore. He will give up his mandate. Daddy would rather die than do this. Daddy Odigba, you know, he's a man that he detests injustice, so he cannot accept it. He cannot. Even my mom too. She was like, "What? What do you mean? Utu?" So it became a struggle, and they both lost their lives. And as a result, Nigeria has democracy now. And we thank God that the Nigerian government has recognized that date and that struggle as a watershed moment in Nigerian political history, and they made it a public holiday. I'm sure that you'll be a little happy to know that his struggle was not in vain.
And what's a visit to Chief M.K.O. Abiola's historic building without a tour?
Yeah, this is where most of the meetings my father used to have. This is where the meetings used to happen. Most of the political meetings would happen here. And whenever we would have like any event, like a naming ceremony or a wedding, we'll do it here. This is called the conference room. You can see his pictures used to be here. But yeah, but this is where most of the meetings were held, June 12, whatever meetings they had.
I imagine that you would have perhaps he used to hold some late night meetings.
Oh, this is where this is before my father was alive. They had all kinds of chairs. It was like a sitting room kind of environment. Now we made it into like a hall. But before it was very cozy. We had lots of chairs. We had tables. So this is where they were having the meetings, and whenever they would do like a press conference, this is where they would do the press conference. And you can see it's really big, and you know.
I wonder the formal declaration, self-declaration, where he declared himself as president.
Yeah.
Is this where?
No. He did it in Epetodo, which is in Lagos Island.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes. Then this is where when they arrested him. This is where they picked him up, and they picked him up from here. This is if you want to go upstairs. This is going to his room. You can go upstairs to his room, but there's another place we can enter. Let's enter to the other place, because this is. But before, this was the entrance going to his room, but now we enter through a different place. You know. But let's look at this. Let's come to the swimming pool area. So one day, my brother Abdul Mumini, he fell into the swimming pool, and I was standing here with my friends, and I noticed that there was somebody in the swimming pool, and I'm like, who is in the swimming pool? So I ran to see who was there. It was my younger brother Abdul Mumini. He had fallen in and he was drowning. So I jumped in and I pulled him out. So my father came back home and he heard that that's what happened. So he said that he was lucky. You are good. It's good that you saw him and you saved him. Because if you did not save him that day, you would have followed him. So he now gave order that they should remove the water. So since then, there's no more pool again.
So since he was alive,
given that order that they should remove the water, because he said I cannot lose a child because of this. You know, I mean, we've seen it happen to many of our celebrities. I think D'banj and I think Davido too also lost a child through that. So my father, when it happened to my brother Mumuni, I saved his life. Alhamdulillah. Remind him when you see him. I saved his life. You know, because of what happened to Mumuni, my father removed the water. I said no more. So and since then, we're not going to put water back in. You know, because Daddy said remove it. So why can't we put it back? And I also have children that are small, so I don't want them to also come and fall inside. You know, growing up, this is where we used to play soccer. We used to run. And my dad too, he was a very good runner. Yeah, we used to run. We used to race him. He would race us. Even when he was in his 40s, he used to race us, and he would beat us. Here and Afsat, they will get the same, they will get, but it will beat the rest of us very fast. Yeah.
Engage in these activities with your siblings.
Yeah, because we weren't allowed to go out. So we had to play soccer all the time, then the basketball. But I won't play basketball in a while, so we need to get that place fixed. On the weekends, this house will be full of people. We're all playing ball together, everybody's playing. Everybody's to come out. Even today, all the kids in the neighborhood, in the weekends, around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, they all come here to come and play soccer. They've been doing this since my father was alive. So all the neighborhood kids, this is where they come and play. They are free to come in and play anytime they want. So this is my mother's apartment, or where I grew up personally. And this is my mom's room. And when we come back home from school, we'll enter through here, and my mom will be sleeping. A chair, it's a different furniture now, but the chair she had, she would be sleeping on the chair, waiting for us to come back home from school. This is my mom's picture. This was on our wedding day. This is my dad and Husni Mubarak. This is all from my father's bedroom. These are his books, his Islamic, his Qurans. So we took them from his bedroom and we brought them here, because there's no point in keeping them there. So we bought the Qurans. You see this one, one of the Qurans that my father he donated and he distributed across Nigeria, one of the first English Qurans. This is where my father is buried, and his first wife, Alaja Simbiat. So they are both buried here. Then you can see this sign here, La ilaha illallah. This is the Islamic motto, Islamic Shahid. It means that there is no God. No God. There's nothing. There's no such thing as a God. There is no God at all. Illa, except Allah. And this is where she is buried. My mom, Alaja Kudirat, by Abacha government. She was killed, and our driver, Mr. Lamidi, Mr. Dauda, he was also killed. So the bullet hit both her and the driver, and both of them died. So the driver, Mr. Dauda, that used to take me to school, I remember him. I can even see his face in my mind right now. Very nice man from Italy, died in the incident. So both my mom and the driver, Mr. Dauda, both died. And that, it was very sad. But it happened. We asked Allah to forgive her, have mercy on her, make her among the people of paradise, save her from the hellfire and from the punishment of the grave. Assalamu alaikum, Mom. Assalamu alaikum.
On July 7, 1998, Chief Abiola died unexpectedly on the day that he was due to be released. But his memory is celebrated in Nigeria and internationally. From 1972 until his death, Chief Abiola was conferred with 197 traditional titles by 68 different communities in Nigeria in response to having provided financial assistance in the construction of at least 63 secondary schools, 121 mosques and churches, 41 libraries, 21 water projects in at least 24 states across the country, and he was grand patron to 149 societies. In addition to his work in Nigeria, Chief M.K.O Abiola supported the Southern African Liberation Movement from the 1970s, as well as sponsored the campaign to win reparations for slavery and colonialism in Africa and the diaspora. He personally communicated with every African head of state and every head of state in the black diaspora to ensure that Africans would speak with one voice on the issues. And that is why his impact and legacy lives on.
No one has accused me of any offense against any known electoral law or regulation. The people of this country went to polls on Saturday, June 12, 1993, and without let or hindrance chose me as their president. Didn't they? They did.
Before his death, this iconic house played host to several high-profile visits. And that has also been the case many years after his death. And the reason is not far-fetched. The political tycoon and businessman cemented his name and image as a martyr for democratic ideals. And for those who believe in him, June 12 is a date they will never forget in a hurry.